So the Wano arc is currently happening in the One Piece manga, and it is probably one of the most hyped arcs in the history of the series to date. Not only does it promise a fight with what many consider the strongest in the universe, Kaido, but a promising character arc for Zoro and a potential backstory as well. As appealing as this all seems, I cannot help but be skeptical that this arc will flop at one point or another. Take, for example, the Whole Cake Island arc. The hype surrounding this was insane, since this was the first time the crew was directly combating a Yonko's forces and it gave focus to another popular character, Sanji. But in reality, the arc turned out to be quite mediocre, with one of the strongest characters in the series being turned into a meme instead of an actual threat. What's going on, guys? My name is Soul King, and today I'll be discussing some reasons on why Wano might suck. Let's get started. So the first major problem that I could see with this arc is the whole time traveling aspect. As of right now, it seems to be working alright since characters are coming from the past, but even the whole introduction of this plot point is risky. Time manipulation in itself is quite an overused trope in the shonen genre, with Dragon Ball, Bleach, and JoJo to be the most obvious examples, but that is not overall a bad thing. If used correctly, it could add a whole nother layer to the plot and explain several plot holes and inconsistencies in the story. But what I fear is that time travel will become this massive convoluted pile of garbage with pirates and samurai traveling through time and space. Alright, so the next issue I would have is if Kaido is nerfed to a major extent. Now, we have seen in previous arcs, aka Whole Cake Island, that if a major villain is nerfed, their threat level is diminished in a major way. Take, for example, Big Mom. Not only was she nerfed in an extensive way so the crew could combat her, but she was disrespected to such an incredible extent that the community has a hard time taking her seriously. The way to fix this issue is actually quite simple, and that is to not nerf the villain, but buff the protagonists. I'm not saying give them godlike abilities like in Naruto where he literally becomes Jesus, but do it in a realistic way in which it makes sense and does not come out of nowhere. A possible way I see this happening is that Luffy does not fight Kaido alone. We have seen the massive difference in skills between Luffy and Kaido in their fight, where he literally got one shot in Gear 4, so Luffy growing to somehow equal him in the fight within the next several chapters would be considered outlandish. Besides, this is not going to be an honorable fight like with Katakuri, but it's going to be an all-out war, so just having a straight one-on-one in the middle of the battlefield would be dumb. The way I envision it is that it's probably going to be Luffy, Kid, and possibly Law fighting Kaido while everyone else fights with the commanders. But it could be done with several other combinations of people, so I'll leave that up to interpretation. Another issue that I could see coming up is if Zoro is not pushed at all. Since the time skip, Zoro has been this unstoppable beast that has not been challenged in the slightest, with his only obstacle coming from an admiral. So the logical thing would be that while the crew is in the land of the samurai, that Zoro should take an L while he's here in one way or another. This could come from anyone, possibly a commander, or even Orochi. Well, actually I see Orochi at this moment as a gap character just based on his design alone, so maybe his top bodyguard will fight Zoro. But what would be absolute trash is if Zoro comes out of this entire arc unchallenged. I know this is probably not going to happen, and this is supposed to be the year of Zoro and everything, but you never know. Crazier things have happened in One Piece, like Brook almost killing a Yonko. My final point about how Wano might be trash is if Oden is still alive. If this would somehow come into fruition, it would ruin the entire plot of the Wano arc. Oden was supposed to be this insanely powerful ruler of Wano, but then left with Nekomamushi and Inuarashi to join the Roger Pirates. If he was still alive, not only would that convolute the timeline of what happened 20 years ago, but it would ruin the legacy of his character and turn him into a fraud. If he was this so-called caring ruler, then why did he hide for 20 years while his country was ravaged by Kaido? Hopefully this does not occur, since I view Oden as one of the most influential members of the world even after his death, and is probably the most interesting member of the Roger Pirates in my opinion. Well y'all, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks for checking out my video, and if you'd like to discuss this further, go ahead and say something down in the comments. I'll try to reply. Please join the Discord. We are now at 500 members, and we could always use more. Alright, make sure to like the video, and subscribe if you really enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next vid.